Welcome to the KZGN News. Today we'll bring you news from the Board of Supervisors meeting yesterday and today's KZGN talking points and more.
From the Rademacher Hills to Bee Mountain and the mighty Sierras, Ridgecrest to Inyokern and China Lake, this is your news for the Indian Wells Valley with the KZGN News crew.
Hello, I'm Tom Whitnick. Thanks for joining us for the news. Well, the long-anticipated meeting of the Kern County Board of Supervisors was held yesterday afternoon. The marathon meeting lasted about 6 hours. The meeting started at 1 o'clock, and I was finally leaving at about 7:30. They never even took a break. It was a rare meeting, and the board held their meeting here in Ridgecrest instead of Bakersfield, and it was the right thing to do. KZGN thanks Supervisor Mick Gleason for coordinating the move, and we thank the board for their understanding and outreach to us here. The board held the meeting in a very respectful and patient way. Everyone that wanted to speak was provided the opportunity. The topic of the meeting was for the board to get a final recommendation from County Planning and Community Development Director Lorelei Oviatt on the staff's recommendation for the Kern County Land Use Management Plan. The meeting was well attended. I would estimate there was well over 110 people attending. The meeting opened with Lorelei giving a detailed staff report on the plan, from inception to changes to what was before the board. The final recommendation presented yesterday was quite a bit different from the original version. Every person that came to the podium thanked the board for having the meeting in Ridgecrest and thanked Lorelei for her professional staff and willingness to listen. A lot of people offered opinions on both sides of the issue. I stopped counting at about 50 people coming to the podium to offer their opinions. At the end of the comment period, Supervisor Maggard remarked that comments were almost split for those for and those who were against the plan. Those that agreed with the county's recommendation had these comments. It's about time we do something, and the plan is only the start for the water conservation. Those that opposed the staff recommendation had these comments. They questioned the validity of the claim of the overdraft, citing other studies that did not support the theory. They questioned the use of the Todd report. They questioned the authority of the board to do what was proposed. They questioned why, if this is a single basin, why are a few wells levels going up? They questioned the differing levels of well history. Example, some wells dropping at different rates. There was strong opinion that the recommendation to change zoning was violating a person's right to use his property as he wished. They felt that this was a taking of property without compensation. Constitutional questions were raised. Some asked to hold off until the newly state-formed GSA was formed. Real estate people were generally against the plan, and it appeared that the rezoning was piecemeal and not consistent with proper zoning. As far as common opinions, everyone was wondering about the new GSA and what it would look like. They asked the board to move quicker to establish the new GSA. Many suggested we needed to do more comprehensive plan, including things like pipelines, desalination plants, importing water, etc. China Lake even had Commander Longbottom provide the basis position. The basis position was that this plan is the first step to doing what needs to be done. The base does not view any particular industry as a threat to their mission. However, they do see an uncontrolled use of a precious resource such as water as a possible encroachment to the Navy's mission at China Lake. Another issue in this whole plan that seems to be not noticed is that the plan also supported adopting the Navy Air Corridor study. Only one member of the public questioned the validity of the Navy study and policy. At the end of the meeting, the Navy was given the opportunity to respond to the questions. The Navy person in charge of the study answered the questions. And this recommendation also adopts the Indian Wells Valley Water District's requirements limiting the installation of new landscaping in front yards for county residents. Upon adoption, it will limit the planting of vegetation to only drought-tolerant plantings. After public comment, the supervisors asked Lorelei to respond to the comments. She provided answers to all the questions raised. The county council answered all the questions concerning the board's authority and constitutional issues. After Lorelei and the attorney gave their responses, then Supervisor Gleason asked all his questions. He dug deeper into some of the people's questions and comments, and he had staff provide fuller and more detailed answers. He also declared that we need to do everything we can to preserve a quality way of life for the valley. We need to make sure there is adequate water to support the Navy and the residents of the valley. 3 other supervisors also asked questions of staff on certain issues. Ultimately, the board continued the meeting to next Tuesday in Bakersfield for their regular meeting there. It is expected the board will receive final recommendations from staff. Then the people will be given another opportunity to weigh in. And finally, they should vote on the plan. If I had to render a guess, I believe the plan will get approved. Now the next phase for water conservation. What's next on the horizon? Well, the next thing we should see coming from the Board of Supervisors is the implementation of the state-mandated Groundwater Sustainable Agency, that's the GSA. This will be a new level of government oversight and control. Our water basin overdraft situation puts our valley under the direction of this new legislation out of Sacramento. The main purpose of this new agency will be to come up with a plan on how to reverse the overdraft water problem we have. It requires the board to establish this new board by 2017. However, most people believe that we cannot wait until 2017. Most people believe this is an urgent need, and yesterday implored the board to move hastily in establishing this new board. The board did tell the people that they have started the ball rolling to do so. They have hired a consultant to study what has to be done and how to do it. Of course, there are no instructions from the state as yet how to do it. The first big issue will be the membership of this board. Who and how many people will sit on this board? Since our water basin not only is under the Indian Wells Valley, it goes into Inyo County and under China Lake as well. The membership will have to include all the affected groups and area representatives. I could see a very large membership based on all the affected parties. Once the agency is set up by membership, next they'll have to determine their responsibilities. Again, the main purpose of this new agency will be to come up with a plan on how to reverse the overdraft water problem we have. A question I have is, who will fund this new agency? Will the state fund it? Or will it once again be an unfunded local mandate that governments will have to fund? You know there will be a staff need, and don't forget the attorney. Where will they meet? They better meet here in the valley, and ultimately, what will their authority be? That one topic alone will surely get the attention of a lot of citizens. So, stand by for this one. Establishment of this new agency will be something to watch. In human interest news, we have received this request. Premature baby in need of blood. Kinsley Stockwell was born on March 18th at 27 weeks gestation and weighed 1 pound 7 ounces. Her 2 siblings born with her did not survive. She has been in the neonatal ICU ever since. Infections and other issues have caused her to need A-positive CMV platelets and O-negative CMV blood. She will need this for the next 2 weeks. Please make blood and platelet donations in her name under Fund Code 907. The family will be reaching out to family and co-workers in Lake Isabel and Ridgecrest at upcoming blood drives. The baby's father, Chris, works at China Lake. Please donate at the upcoming Ridgecrest blood drive on May 20th, noon to 6 at the Kerr-McGee Center, or May 27th from 10 to 4 at the Branch Medical Clinic on base. Stay tuned for today's KZGN Talking Points when we come back. Now it's time for the 43rd KZGN News Talking Points editorial. It's titled, What Do You Think of the Blame Game in Washington Yesterday? Okay, now this is an editorial I once said that I would never get into. However, after the big news item a couple days ago, I just have to weigh in. I'm referring to the train crash in Philadelphia. The one where the Amtrak train derailed, many were killed and a lot more were injured. Turns out the train went into an area that had a 50-mile-an-hour speed limit, doing 106 miles per hour. Well, what got me was how politicians in Washington started reacting to the crash. There were some already starting the political blame game before the rescue effort was even done. There were still people being rescued, and Democrats were blaming the Republicans for not funding necessary infrastructure improvements for the country. Are you kidding me? We just went through 6 years of the Democrat-controlled Senate that never once passed a complete budget as required by law. The government was funded for 6 years piecemeal by extensions or single-line appropriations, never a whole budget at one time. And now they have the audacity to blame Republicans for funding problems who only had congressional control for 6 months? Now there's someone calling the kettle black. The blame game is alive and well. Even today I hear some Democrats still blaming President Bush for things over 6 years into President Obama's term. Boy, Bush was one powerful president. This is political lunacy at its worst. Even the mayor of New York jumped on the bandwagon, blaming the Republicans. Hey, I'll be the first to agree that there are problems in Washington. I believe it was Obama's former chief of staff, Rob Emanuel, that said, "Never let a catastrophe go untouched by politics," or something like that. I can't remember his exact words. To me, it would seem appropriate that politicians will stay out of a catastrophe, at least until all the potential victims have been recovered. The news this morning was even saying there are still unaccounted for people in this accident. Can't these politicians even wait until there's something known concerning the facts of the accident? Is politics more important than common decency? Can't they respect the people that are having their lives ripped apart by the catastrophe? Before someone starts beating me up for criticizing the Democrats, let me be clear. If it was Republicans piling on political rhetoric at this time, I'd say the same thing. Knock off the political blame game. For every charge against the Democrat can level a similar charge against the Republican. Oh, and as far as this accident funding issue they claim, it points to funding for the emergency GPS track system for the train. The system is programmed for the route the train travels and automatically controls the speed of the train in accordance to its position on the programmed route. It is designed to control the train and prevent it from exceeding speed limits. In the happenstance of this accident, the automated system, if the train had been equipped with the system, it would have slowed down the train from 106 miles an hour to the proper speed. Now the funding issue. It's being reported that the Congress did approve funding for this system upgrade for the Amtrak trains about 6 months ago. It just has not been installed into all the trains yet, including the engine involved in this accident. But it is on the list for the installation. It will take quite a while to equip all the trains with GPS tracking systems. So what caused the accident? Seems the train engineer was just going too fast. Why? We don't know. The engineer is lawyered up and isn't talking. No surprise there. But the politicians sure are talking. But on the other hand, if these walking boxes of hot air were respectful of the victims and not talking, I might not have had anything to write about today. In conclusion, come on, Washington politicians. Let's turn down the rhetoric. Let's be civil. Let's respect the people being affected by the tragedy. Why bring politics into a bad situation? Respect those people you serve. Did you hear me? I said, respect the people you serve. I'm Tom Winnick, and that's what I think. I'd like to know what you think. If you have any comments about this editorial or would like to discuss other items, I'd like to hear from you. Please email them to info@kzgn.net.
From the Burroughs High School TV studio, I'm Lindsay Hill with the Burroughs Video Bits for Thursday, May 14th, 2015. Here's a quick look at how the athletes of the school are doing from the Burroughs Athletics website. The BHS Performing Arts Department presents the Spring Concerts Tuesday, May 19th for choir and orchestra and Wednesday, May 20th for band. Both concerts begin at 7 p.m. in the PAC. Tickets cost $5 general admission, available at the door. Lots of new scholarships are now available. Seniors interested in applying or learning about scholarship opportunities, please stop by the Counseling Center. If you're interested in reading Book Club's last book of the year, it's The Storyteller by Jodi Picoult. The last meeting will be Tuesday, May 19th at lunch in room I-4. If you would like to join in discussions about current events regarding equal rights, including marriage equality, come to the GSA meetings on Mondays in room I-4 at lunch. This week in world news, although there are new cases of Ebola every week, Liberia has now been declared free of the disease by the World Health Organization. Did you know a B-25 bomber flew into the Empire State Building and it didn't fall? Remember, burrows don't burrow. Have an extraordinary rest of the week. For the Burroughs High School TV broadcast of Ridgecrest, California, this is Lindsay Hill.
I'm here with Mary and Lacey. So can you tell me a little bit about Macy and how old she is?
She is about 3 months old. She's a border collie mix, and she came into the shelter as a stray, and no one has claimed her thus far. So she is looking for a very active home because, as you know, border collies can be very active, either one with children or someone who likes to hike or go on walks, because she would be a good companion for you.
She also seems pretty calm for a little puppy, so she can have her downtime and cuddle. So if there is any specials going on this month, would you like to mention them?
Sure. This month is Be Kind to Animals Week. We're having a special this week. So all dog adoptions are $45. Also, I want to mention that on this coming Saturday, the 16th, from 10 to 2, we will be out at Jim Charlon Ford on China Lake Boulevard, holding a special adoption event. So come by and see us there, and there will be also special fees and prices for all of our dogs and cats that are at the Charlon Ford adoption event.
Okay, and what times will you be there?
10 to 2 on Saturday, May 16th, and we'll have many animals for you to select.
All right, so if there's a little page that they can visit on Facebook to see any pet adoptions, or can you give them your location and phone number?
Sure. We're located at 411 San Bernardino Boulevard. Our phone number is 760-499-5190. We're open Tuesday through Friday, 11 to 5, Saturday, 10 to 4. And I would like to just mention also that we are in need of foster homes for mama cats and infant babies that just need a place to grow up until they're old enough to be put up for adoption. So if you can help, please contact the shelter.
For anyone who doesn't want a permanent animal but would love to take care of one for a little while, that would be the perfect opportunity.
Exactly.
So come on down and find a pet to adopt and go visit Jim Charlon Ford this weekend. I'm Julian Sen from KZGN-TV. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lacey.
Stay tuned for weather and sports after the break. Thanks for staying with us. Let's go to Keith for the weather. Is it going to rain out there, Keith?
Hey, Tom. We're looking at 40% chance of rain and thunderstorms, but first, the National Weather Service is forecasting a risk of severe thunderstorms Thursday afternoon and evening across parts of the Southern Plains, mainly across West Texas, with large hail and damaging wind gusts. Also, a winter weather advisory is in effect from 6 p.m. this evening to 11 a.m. Friday for the Kern County Mountains and the IWV. Possible snow accumulations 1 to 2 inches above 6,000 feet from this evening through to Friday morning. For our local forecast, tonight, a 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms before 11 p.m., then a slight chance of showers afterward, mostly cloudy with a low around 51, windy with a southwest wind 20 to 30 miles per hour. Wind gusts could get as high as 40. Friday, we repeat the 40% chance of showers with thunderstorms, also possible after 11 a.m. Partly sunny with a high near 67, south-southwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour with gusts as high as 15. Friday night, mostly cloudy with a low around 51, south-southeast wind 10 to 15 miles per hour, wind gusts high as 20. Saturday will be mostly sunny with a high near 77, south-southwest wind 5 miles per hour. Saturday night, partly cloudy with a low around 54, south wind 5 to 10 miles per hour with gusts as high as 15. Sunday will be mostly sunny with a high near 78, north-northeast wind 5 miles per hour. Now back to Tom and the rest of your KZGN News.
Thanks, Keith. Let's go to Tom Heck with the sports report.
And a very pleasant Thursday afternoon to everybody. A cooler, breezy day. It's going to be a tough day for baseball and softball, but that's what's going to be going on with the Burros today. The Burros will be at home for softball. They'll take on Sultana, last regular season game. And then also the boys' baseball team will travel down to Hesperia, where it's supposed to be even more windier down there, if that's possible. They'll take on Sultana. Now, if they win today, they'll be in sole possession of second place. likely to get a playoff game at home next week. If they lose, they'll end up in a tie. It'll probably be a coin toss. They could then go second or third. If you do go third, though, that could put you on the road, and you'd rather be at home in the first round of the playoffs, obviously. All right, Major League Baseball, the Angels 2, Colorado 1. Took him 11 innings to do that. Boy, Mike Trout, we all know he can hit the baseball, but he made 2 great defensive plays to keep the Angels in the game. In the 9th inning, Troy Tulowitzki, the shortstop for Colorado, hit a ball to the wall. Mike jumped up, made a great catch, saved a home run, and that kept the score 1-1. Then in the 10th inning, with the bases loaded, a short fly ball to center field, he came in, made an unbelievable catch at his ankles, and then threw the runner out trying to tag from third. Not only once, but twice did he save the day. Then the Angels won it in the 11th inning. The Angels off today. They're on the road to Baltimore. They'll play the Orioles 3 straight games over the weekend. The Dodgers' winning streak is snapped at 5. They lose to the Marlins at home 5-4. The NBA, one great exciting game last night and one not so exciting game. Let's start with the exciting game. Paul Pierce hit a 3-point shot for Washington with 8 seconds left in the game to try to beat Atlanta. Atlanta got the ball back, and with 1.5 seconds left in the game, Al Horford put back a missed layup to give the Hawks a win. The crowd went crazy, and the Hawks, who are the number 1 seed in the East, took a 3-2 advantage going in to Game 6. Now, Game 6 will be on Friday night. That will be in the nation's capital. So what an exciting series this has been. If the Hawks can win, it'll be the first time in years since they've been in the Eastern Division Finals. They have to get the win either at home for Game 7 or on the road for Game 6. Boy, Washington has really played well. They do got Mike Wall back. That's going to help quite a bit also. All right, the game that wasn't so good up in Oakland last night, Golden State easily over Memphis. They win by 21 points. They now lead that series 3-2 with Game 6 Friday night in Memphis. All right, let's take a look at some Major League Baseball last night, just who won, who lost. The Houston Astros continue to play well. They lead the Angels by 4 games. They beat the Giants in Texas last night 4-3. The Red Sox beat the A's. Boy, the A's are reeling. They are just struggling. They are now 12 games under 500. The Nationals win again. Boy, if you're a Washington Nationals fan, they're right now in the best shape they've been in years for a great early start. They beat Arizona 9-6 in Phoenix, and then Cleveland beat St. Louis. Other winners, the Orioles, Cleveland, the Phillies, the Reds win, the Rays, and the Rangers. The Rangers playing pretty good also. Now, there's only 2 teams over 500 or near 500 in the American League West. That's the surprise Houston Astros, and the Angels now back at 500. NHL note, the Rangers beat the Capitals 2-1 last night in New York. They win that series in 7 games. They'll be in the Eastern Division Championships. It was a great series for all hockey fans, and there are a lot of hockey fans this time of year come the Stanley Cup playoffs. That's your sports for this Thursday. Hope Burrows can come up with a win today. We'll let you know tomorrow. I'm Tom Heck for KZGN.
So that's the news for today. All of the KZGN-TV know you have a choice in what you watch for your news. We all thank you for choosing KZGN-TV, First Class only community TV station.